Welcome to Stairway to English. Here you can practice English listening and reading with simple stories and clear language. Step by step, you will improve your English and feel more confident every day. Let's climb the stairway to English together. Episode 1. Oblomov and the Art of Doing Nothing. Oblomov is one of the most unusual heroes in Russian literature. He was created by Ivan Goncharov in the 19th century. Many other heroes in literature are strong, brave, and full of action. But Oblomov is different. He is famous because he does almost nothing. His story is not about war, travel, or great success. It is about staying in bed, dreaming, and avoiding work. For many readers, this is strange. But that is exactly why his story is so interesting. He shows us a different way of looking at life. Oblomov is a man who lives in St. Petersburg. He is not poor, but he is not rich either. He has an estate, land with peasants, in the countryside, but he does not manage it well. In fact, he does not manage it at all. He prefers to stay in his apartment, wearing his soft robe, lying on the sofa, and thinking. For Oblomov, life is not about running and working. Life is about being comfortable and peaceful. He loves quiet mornings, soft pillows, and the slow passing of time. But Oblomov is not simply lazy. If we read carefully, we see that he is more complex. He is not a man without thought. On the contrary, he thinks deeply. He dreams about a perfect world where no one must hurry, no one must suffer, and no one must fight for money. In his imagination, there is peace, honesty, and kindness. The world in his head is better than the noisy, busy world outside. That is why he chooses to stay inside. For him, dreams are more important than reality. His friends try to change him. They invite him to dinners, balls, and social events. They ask him to work, to take responsibility, to act like other men. But Oblomov always finds a reason to stay home. He says he will go tomorrow. He says he will start later. He says the world outside is too complicated. And so tomorrow never comes. His life becomes a long wait, a pause that never ends. In this way, Oblomov's story is not only about one man, it is also about a way of thinking. Many people in Russia at that time recognized something of themselves in him. Life was changing fast. The city was full of new businesses, new plans, and new energy. But some people felt tired. Some felt that life was meaningless if it was only about money and speed. Oblomov represented those feelings. He was like a mirror, showing a society that wanted peace, but was pushed by pressure. At the same time, Oblomov's way of life is dangerous. If we always wait and do nothing, what happens? Nothing changes. Dreams stay dreams. The estate is lost. Love is lost. Even health becomes weak. Goncharov, the writer, wanted readers to think about this. Can we live only in dreams? Can we escape from all problems by lying in bed? Or do we need to stand up and face life? The first part of Oblomov's story shows us this question. He lies in his room, he avoids decisions, he dreams of his perfect world. But readers can already feel a problem. Can a person survive like this forever? Can a nation survive if too many people live like this? That is the challenge that Goncharov brings to us. Oblomov is comfortable, but he is not safe. He is calm, but he is also weak. He enjoys peace, but he loses chances. This is why Oblomov is not only a story, but also a philosophy. It is the philosophy of doing nothing. It asks us to think, is doing nothing sometimes good? Can rest be a kind of wisdom? Or is it always dangerous? These questions will follow us as we continue reading about his life. Episode 2. The life of Oblomov. Oblomov is a man who lives in a very different way from most people. He lives in a small apartment in St. Petersburg, Russia. His life is slow, calm, and quiet. Every morning, Oblomov wakes up late. He does not jump out of bed with energy. Instead, he stays under the blanket, thinking about life. Sometimes he imagines plans, but he does not act on them. His thoughts are like dreams. They make him feel good, but they never become real. For many people, this kind of life sounds strange. They work, they move, and they fight for their goals. But Oblomov believes that doing nothing has its own meaning. He is not lazy in a simple way. He is a thinker. He feels that the world outside is too fast, too noisy, and too stressful. So he chooses to live in a slow way. His philosophy is to avoid the endless rush of life. Oblomov's apartment shows his lifestyle. The furniture is old, the curtains are heavy, and the air is full of stillness. Dust lies on the tables, and books are left unread. The place looks tired, just like its owner. But to Oblomov, this is not a problem. He feels safe in this environment. For him, comfort is more important than progress. Friends sometimes visit him. They try to wake him up to the real world. They say, "Oblomov, you should work. You should live like us." But Oblomov just smiles and answers slowly. He explains that he does not want to waste his life in meaningless work. He wants peace, not stress. This is the heart of his philosophy. Oblomov thinks that life should not be about endless action. He believes people lose themselves when they always run. They forget who they are. For him, the greatest value is rest. To rest is to live in harmony with yourself. But this way of life also has a problem. When you do nothing, the world does not stop with you. Bills need to be paid, food needs to be bought, and society expects you to work. Oblomov often ignores these duties. That is why others call him lazy. They cannot see the deeper meaning of his choices. Still, there is something powerful in his calmness. When others are nervous, Oblomov stays quiet. When others run after money and fame, Oblomov stays in bed, thinking, dreaming, and waiting. He is different. He does not want to be like everyone else. His story makes us ask questions. Is he right? Can doing nothing be a philosophy? Can peace be more important than success? These questions are at the center of Oblomov's life, and they make his story special. Episode 3: Dreams and Reality. Oblomov spends much of his life in dreams. When he lies in bed, he closes his eyes and imagines a perfect world. In this world, there is no noise, no rushing, no hard work, and no stress. People live in peace, nature is beautiful, and time moves slowly. He dreams of a village from his childhood, a place where life was calm and simple. This dream is his escape from the modern city of St. Petersburg, which feels cold and busy. In his dreams, Oblomov sees himself walking in sunny fields, talking with kind neighbors, and eating good food. He feels safe and warm in this vision. These dreams are not just entertainment for him. They are his philosophy of life. They show him how he believes people should live. For Oblomov, happiness comes not from money or work, but from rest, comfort, and harmony with nature. But The problem is that dreams are not the same as reality. Reality is full of duties, problems, and responsibilities. In real life, Oblomov must pay rent, answer letters, and make decisions. Yet, he delays everything. He says, "Tomorrow I will do it." But tomorrow never comes. This is why people around him get angry. They see him as weak and useless. One of his friends, Stoltz, is very different. Stoltz is active, strong, and hardworking. He believes in progress, discipline, and action. When Stoltz visits Oblomov, he cannot understand why his friend lives this way. He tells him, "Life is short. You must act, or you will waste it." But Oblomov only shakes his head. For him, acting without peace is also wasting life. He believes Stoltz runs too fast and forgets the meaning of life. This contrast between Stoltz and Oblomov is important. It shows the conflict between two ways of living: action versus rest, progress versus peace. Many readers of Oblomov see themselves in this conflict. Some people feel like Stoltz, always busy, always moving. Others feel like Oblomov, tired of the noise of modern life and dreaming of rest. Still, the more Oblomov dreams, the less he can face reality. He hides from problems, and problems grow bigger. He does not open letters, and so he does not know about his business. He does not answer people, and so he loses friends. He does not make decisions, and so life decides for him. His dreams protect him from stress, but they also make him powerless in the real world. This is the paradox of Oblomov's life. His dreams are beautiful, but they also stop him from living. His peace is real, but it costs him his future. The reader begins to ask, is this philosophy of doing nothing truly wise, or is it just an excuse to avoid life's challenges? Oblomov himself does not answer. He continues to dream, even as the real world moves without him. And so the line between dreams and reality grows thinner. For Oblomov, life is not about action, but about feeling. He chooses the world inside his mind over the world outside his door. Episode 4: Love and Awakening. For a short time in his life, Oblomov experiences something different. This change comes when he meets Olga, a young woman full of life, music, and hope. Olga is intelligent and sensitive. She is also strong, unlike Oblomov. She sees his quiet nature, but instead of rejecting him, she wants to awaken him. She believes she can inspire him to live, to act, and to love. Oblomov is surprised by this. He has always thought that love requires great energy and passion, something he does not have. Yet with Olga, he feels a new warmth. When she sings, he listens with deep emotion. When she speaks of the beauty of life, he dreams not of his village, but of a life together with her. For the first time, Oblomov thinks, maybe action is possible. Maybe life outside of dreams can be beautiful too. Olga encourages him. She says, "You must rise. You must not waste your days." She believes in his potential. For her, love is not only about feeling, but also about helping the other person grow. She wants Oblomov to become strong, to be a man who can face the world. For a while, it seems possible. Oblomov begins to imagine a future with her. He promises to change, to write letters, to work, to be more active. But change is difficult for him. Every step forward feels heavy. He tries to move, but the habit of rest pulls him back. Days pass and promises remain promises. Olga waits for him, but she grows sad when she sees he cannot keep his word. She realizes that love alone cannot transform him. He loves her deeply, but his love is quiet, passive, and dreamy. He cannot match her energy. This is one of the most painful parts of his story. Oblomov's love is sincere, but his way of living kills it slowly. Olga wants life and growth, but he wants peace and safety. Their worlds cannot meet, no matter how much they try. In the end, Olga decides to let go. She chooses a future with Stoltz, who has the strength and action that Oblomov lacks. For Oblomov, this is both a loss and a release. He feels pain, but he also feels relief. The energy of love was too much for him. He returns to his quiet life, his room, and his dreams. Love touched him, but it could not change him. This moment shows the truth about Oblomov's philosophy. His way of doing nothing does not only affect him, it also affects those around him. It stops love, it blocks growth, and it makes connection impossible. Olga's story with Oblomov is a lesson. Love can awaken a person, but it cannot fight against their nature forever. And so, Oblomov falls back into his old habits. The dream continues, but the chance for real happiness slips away. Episode 5. The Quiet End of a Dreamer. After Olga leaves him, Oblomov's life becomes even quieter. He does not try to fight for her, and he does not try to change. Instead, he accepts the loss as something natural, almost like the weather. He thinks, perhaps this is how it was always meant to be. For him, happiness through action is too heavy, too demanding. His heart cannot carry it. In time, Oblomov settles into a very simple life. He leaves behind the world of social visits, letters, and promises. Instead, he chooses comfort. He lives with Agafia, a kind and gentle woman who takes care of him. She does not ask him to change or to act. She only gives him food, warmth, and peace. For Oblomov, this is enough. It is not love full of fire like with Olga. It is quiet, soft, and without demands. It suits him perfectly. Stoltz visits him sometimes. Stoltz has built a successful life, full of action and achievement. He is respected, active, and always moving forward. Stoltz tries again and again to pull Oblomov out of his slow life, but every effort fails. Stoltz begins to understand that Oblomov is not made for action. He is made for rest, for dreaming, for a life without motion. The years pass and Oblomov grows older. His days are all the same. He wakes late, eats, rests, dreams, and sleeps again. He does not suffer, but he does not shine either. He becomes almost invisible, like a shadow in his own house. For him, this is a kind of peace. For others, it looks like wasted life. At last, Oblomov dies quietly, just as he lived. There is no great drama, no loud ending. His life is like a long afternoon nap that slowly ends in silence. Olga and Stoltz remember him with sadness, but also with understanding. They know he was not made for the active world. He belonged to a different rhythm, a slower one. The story of Oblomov is not only about one man, it is about a question that touches everyone. What is the right way to live? Is it better to act, to achieve, to fight for love and success? Or is it better to rest, to dream, and to accept peace, even if it means doing nothing? Some readers see Oblomov as weak. They say he wasted his life, lost love, and missed chances. Others see him as wise. They say he refused to run in the endless race of life, choosing instead a gentle existence. Perhaps the truth is in between. Oblomov shows us both the beauty and the danger of doing nothing. His story is a mirror for us all. When we read about him lying on his sofa, afraid to act, we must ask, how much of Oblomov lives in us? Do we also delay, avoid, and hide in comfort? Or do we rise, take action, and risk failure for the chance of growth? Oblomov's life ends quietly, but his question remains alive in every reader's mind.